March! Guard inwards! Guard order! Arms! Guard stand at ease! Guard a 10! John! Guard shoulder! Up! Guard order! Arms! Guard stand at ease! stand at ease. Turn, John! Guard stand at ease. Attention! Shoulder up! Australia's Federation Guard General Salute. Present up! Guard shoulder up! Guard order up! Guard stand at 8. Attention! Shoulder up! Alias Federation Guard, General Salute, present, arms! Guard, shoulder, arms! Guard, shoulder, arms!
commission from Her Majesty the Queen appointing General Peter John Cosgrove, AC, MC retired, to be the Governor-General of the Commonwealth of Australia. Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen of Australia and her other realms and territories, Head of the Commonwealth. To Peter John Cosgrove, Companion of the Order of Australia, Military Cross, greeting. We do by this our commission under our sign manual and Great Seal of Australia appoint you, Peter John Cosgrove, to be, during our pleasure, our Governor-General of the Commonwealth of Australia. And we do authorise, empower and command you to exercise and perform all and singular the powers and directions contained in the letters patent dated 21 August 2008 relating to the office of Governor-General, or in future letters patent relating to that office according to such instructions as our Governor-General for the time being may have received or may in future receive from us, and according to such laws as are from time to time in force. And we do declare that the powers conferred by this our commission include any further powers that may in future be assigned to the Governor-General in accordance with Section 2 of the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Australia. The Commission is signed at its head, Elizabeth R., and was given at our court at St James on 12 March 2014. It is countersigned by Her Majesty's Command, Tony Abbott, Prime Minister. I invite the Chief Justice of Australia to inspect the Commission. The Chief Justice will now administer the Oath of Allegiance and then the Oath of Office.
I, Peter John Cosgrove, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, her heirs and successors, according to law. So help me God.
I invite you to make the oath of office.
I, Peter John Cosgrove, do swear that I will well and truly serve Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, her heirs and successors, according to law, in the office of Governor-General of the Commonwealth of Australia, and I will do right to all manner of people after the laws and usages of the Commonwealth of Australia, without fear or favour, affection or ill will. So help me God.
Congratulations, Your Excellency.
Thank you very much, Your Honour.
Your Excellency, having now taken the Oath of Allegiance and the Oath of Office, may I invite you to sign the instrument proclaiming that you have assumed the office of Governor-General of the Commonwealth of Australia. whereas Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II has been graciously pleased by commission under her Royal Sign Manual and the Great Seal of Australia, dated 12 March 2014, to appoint me, Peter John Cosgrove, Knight of the Order of Australia, Companion in the Military Division of the Order of Australia, Military Cross, to be Governor-General of the Commonwealth of Australia. Now therefore I proclaim that I have this day made the prescribed oath of allegiance and the prescribed oath of office of the Governor-General of the Commonwealth of Australia before the Honourable the Chief Justice of Australia, and that I have assumed that office accordingly. Signed and to be sealed with the Great Seal of Australia on 28 March 2014, Peter Cosgrove, Governor-General, countersigned by His Excellency's Command, Tony Abbott, Prime Minister.
President of the Senate, Speaker of the House of Representatives, Prime Minister, Chief Justice, Leader of the Opposition, members of the Ministry, members of the Australian Parliament, members of the Diplomatic Corps, distinguished guests, my fellow Australians. Consequent upon the oaths I have just taken, I assume the office of Governor-General of the Commonwealth of Australia, the 26th person to do so, the 13th Australian to hold the office. Let me start by paying my respects to the Ngunnawal people on whose land we meet, and through them to all the Indigenous people and their nations within Australia and all its territory. I'm at once humbled and proud to assume the office as Governor-General. Humbled to know something of the great men and the one woman to have preceded me, and proud beyond description of Australia, of its men and women, and of their history, their heritage, their present genius and their hopeful future. To think that I will play some part in the public discourse in that regard extends to me, my wife and family, the greatest honour of our fortunate lives. A moment ago I spoke about the one woman to have filled the office of Governor-General. This is my first very public opportunity to add my congratulations to all those already given by all you here in the Parliament to Dame Quentin Bryce and her husband Michael for their great efforts over the last 5.5 years. I wish them a long, healthy and joyful future in the satisfaction of their most eminent service to this nation. I come to the tasks of the appointment in some senses agenda-free. What I mean by this is that my wife and I will be attentive to any and all agenda that we encounter that sit within a broad and fundamental set of Australian values. Values that respect and uphold equity, compassion, generosity, tolerance and energetic ambition. Our nation prides itself on high levels of social inclusiveness and harmony and equity, and compared to most nations on earth, that pride is not misplaced. Yet in the broad, and indeed in some special sectors of our community, we remain imperfect, a work in progress. There is a role for the Governor-General, in the words of one of my predecessors, to reflect the community to itself, without becoming partisan, and I will embrace those opportunities enthusiastically. In the year I had as Australian of the Year in 2001, I had the great honour, alongside my continuing military service, to visit many parts of our national community. That was not only an honour, but in retrospect a formidable insight into my forthcoming tasks. Formidable but not daunting. I pledge all of my energy and goodwill to all the tasks of Australia's Governor-General, not least those working within the wider community. Moving to a close, I address all the parliamentarians present in this place, the hub of one of the world's great democracies. As the elected representatives of and within Australia's communities, you will know best of all the vibrancy, even the stridency, of political discourse in this nation, of its robustness, even its abrasiveness. Yet the Australian people, even when expressing occasionally mild alarm and sometimes disappointment in the tenor of the political battle, maintain a profound underlying confidence that our system of government will continue to serve the nation's needs effectively. Let me illustrate in a small way. In the House of Representatives, on the 13th of February this year, the Prime Minister and the Leader of the Opposition made statements on indulgence concerning the award posthumously of the Victoria Cross to Corporal Cameron Baird. The Prime Minister said, "I salute Corporal Cameron Baird, VC MG. In this place we do not face danger, so we can hardly claim him as our brother, but we do acclaim him as our hero. We can hardly imagine what the likes of Cameron Baird and his comrades go through, but we stand in awe of their extraordinary courage, the extraordinary courage of these amazing men who serve our country and keep us safe." Immediately thereafter, the Leader of the Opposition said, "All Australians admire courage. All of us aspire to be strong, but bravery and strength is not restricted to those who are decorated. Corporal Baird and all his fellow soldiers are heroes, but there can be no doubt that Corporal Baird was the sort of man that every soldier would aspire to be. We hail and salute Cameron Baird. He lives in the injured hearts of those he left too soon." Gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen of the Parliament, those remarks, that unity of spirit, that instinct to reflect the mood of the Australian people at a special moment, was as much representative of the strength of our democracy as any of the partisan issues of our time. Lynn and I reiterate our consciousness of the great responsibility and the great honour that has been conferred upon us, and now it's time to get to work. Thank you, Mr President and Madam Speaker.
Ladies and gentlemen, Auntie Jeanette Phillips, Ngunnawal Elder, who will deliver a welcome to country.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Your Excellency, General, the Honourable Sir Peter Cosgrove, Governor-General, Your Excellency, Lady Cosgrove, Prime Minister, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. As I repeatedly say, it's always an honour for me to stand here. It also is very humbling. To stand here to represent the ancient people once called Ngunnawal, Noa. It is overwhelming at times. I often look to heaven and say, Grandpa, I'm doing okay, I'm fine. For this incredible occasion that I am just a tiny little smidgen of, I wondered what I would say because it is such a grand occasion. And I picked up the words of one of our most incredible poets. That is, an Aboriginal person is a bonus. He wrote, "Culture has to be developed from the heart, from the depth of human integrity, the depth of human passion, the depth of human creativity, and I believe that if ever there is to be a sound overall culture of this land, it has to involve everyone, and it must involve everybody, and it must evolve, and it must be based on all those fine aspects of the human family: integrity, justice, vision, creativity, life, and honour." Sir, to you and your lovely lady, I wish you the very best. I've seen that house and it's gorgeous. My daddy said to me once, my brother was a Vietnam conscript. His number was July the 26th and he was born 1947. And I turned to my daddy and I said, "Daddy, when does war stop?" And my father looked at me very quietly. And he said, "If you want peace, speak to a soldier." And I can recall Mr. Cosgrove saying those exact words. And I went, good. So, sir, have a really good time, both you and your wife. And I thank you for your commitment to us all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome to country is like a blessing, that while you travel through this amazing land of the ancient Ngunnawal people, that you be safe, whether you stay for a moment, 30 years, or like some now, their bones are in this amazing Mother Earth of ours with my ancestors. I say loudly and proudly to all of you, welcome, 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 and thank you for this amazing, amazing moment in the history of my life. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Honourable Tony Abbott, Prime Minister.
Your Excellencies, parliamentary colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. Whenever she was talking to a group of politicians, Dame Quentin Bryce would observe that members of Parliament don't get the credit they deserve for their vocation to public life. It was typical of her decency that she would dwell on the good in everyone. But that's what Governors-General do. They encourage us to be our best selves. They are our cheerleaders in chief. They celebrate all that is good in our community in the hope that we just might live up to it. Regrettably, it's often hard to be proud of political leaders grappling with the most contentious issues we face. Happily, it's easy to be proud of Governors-General providing leadership beyond politics and appealing to the things that unite us. Governors-General, like the monarch they represent, are the dignified part of our Constitution. As Sir Peter Cosgrove and Lady Lynn travel the length and breadth of our country, visiting all the places that aren't important enough for Prime Ministers, you will affirm these two fundamental Australian characteristics: to give a fair go to others and to have a fair go yourself. As Governor-General, you will be a knight for rolling up your sleeves and getting on with things, because that's what you've always done. As a decorated platoon commander in Vietnam, as the clean-up commander after Cyclone Larry in Queensland, and as the commander of the Australian force which turned East Timor from a troubled province into a free country. There was nothing in that for Australia but risk, expense, and the danger of antagonising a powerful neighbour. But you made the near impossible achievable. We all yearn to lose the largely self-imposed shackles on what's possible for us. We all want to believe that tomorrow can be better than today. Every human being wants to be uplifted and inspired, and I can think of no better man than Peter Cosgrove to maintain our national morale and to fire our faith in ourselves. The role of the monarch, said Badgett, was to be consulted, to encourage and to warn. I know, Sir Peter, you will approach this work with respect, discretion and judgment, and our government and our country will be the better for it. Welcome, Sir Peter, 26th Governor-General of Australia, the latest in a long and distinguished line. You will help to lead us into our future.
The Honourable Bill Shorten, Leader of the Opposition.
I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land upon which we meet and pay my respects to their elders, both past and present. Your Excellency, on behalf of the opposition and indeed all Australians, I congratulate you on your appointment as our 26th Governor-General. Another great commander who became a statesman, Arthur Wellesley, the Duke of Wellington, famously said of his first cabinet meeting, "It was an extraordinary affair. I gave them their orders and they wanted to stay and discuss them." Your Excellency, rest assured, when a Governor-General speaks, Australia will listen. We look to you as a guardian of our Constitution, a representative of the values and the love of country that we all share, a responsibility you will fill with distinction. On the day that your appointment was announced, you spoke of your wish to travel widely and engage with Australians everywhere, particularly Indigenous Australians in our remote communities. This is a most admirable ambition, proof that, like your immediate predecessor, you will be a Governor-General for all Australians. Your Excellency, you bring to this role a magnificent record of service to our nation. Decorated for courage in action in Vietnam, commanding in East Timor, acclaimed appropriately for the compassion of the work in cyclone-struck Queensland, and honoured as Australian of the Year. Australians have long associated the name of General Peter Cosgrove with leadership, with strength, with decency, with compassion. We've always admired you, and our nation now has the fortunate chance to get to know you even better. I look forward to more Australians discovering your empathy, your sense of humour, your booming warmth. You have a particularly central role to play during the coming years as we commemorate the centenary of the First World War. I can think of no better person, more fitting to salute the courage and sacrifice of Australian Anzacs. Today, also, all Australians welcome your wife Lynn to her new role in public life. And I wish to place on record my appreciation not only to Lynn but to the entire Cosgrove family for lending us your Peter and your Lynn to the whole of Australia for the next number of coming years. It is a great gift. All of us in public life depend on the love and support of our families, the people to whom that we're always more than a title or a role. Your Excellency, all Australians welcome you to our highest office. We wish you well in the years ahead. We know that you will serve our country with honour, with compassion and with humility. You always have.
Ladies and gentlemen, His Excellency, General the Honourable Sir Peter Cosgrove, Governor-General of the Commonwealth of Australia.
Mr President, Madam Speaker, Prime Minister, Leader of the Opposition, all parliamentarians, Chief Justice and Justices of the High Court, diplomats, many other distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Let me start by saying my thanks to Aunty Jeanette Phillips for the welcome to country, and I join with all those who acknowledge and respect the traditional owners. In that regard, Aunty Jeanette, I might say that when you look at Yarralumla, you are in effect the landlord, so I hope you were happy with what you saw. To the Leader of the Opposition who quoted the Duke of Wellington, he said one other thing, he said many things, but one of the things he said about his own soldiers, he said, "I don't know if they frighten the enemy, but by God they frighten me." I've never thought that about the men and women of the Australian Defence Force. But I would like to start by expressing my great gratitude to the presiding officers and all of those who have been part of this visit today, who either conducted or participated in the ceremony just completed. I think it's another great example of our democracy in action. For my family, my friends, and of course for Lynn and I, it's an unforgettable day. And indeed, as it relates to the office of the Governor-General, it signals a formal and public transfer of the duties and responsibilities from my esteemed predecessor to me. I'm also thrilled to see that apart from the people specially gathered here in the Members' Hall, we're joined by other guests, visitors to the Parliament. I don't know if the students from Radcliffe are here, but there's a shout out to you if you're still there. And to all those visitors, I hope you're enjoying what is a unique part of the parliamentary program. I finished my remarks in the Senate chamber today by saying now it's time to get to work. And for parliamentarians, judges, diplomats, bureaucrats and the media, there's always something more, something else that needs attention. So indeed today I'm going to be brief. I've stood not in the chambers of the Parliament so often, but certainly in these great assembly areas like the Great Hall and the Members' Hall on so many frequent occasions. In 2000, when we returned from that exhilarating mission to East Timor, the return from Interfet, at the announcement of the Australian of the Year in 2001, late the same year, in a very sombre moment when Australia, represented by its parliamentarians and the world by its diplomats resident here in Australia, we mourned the 9/11 attacks. There was a memorial service after that which was the most moving of the times I've been in the Parliament. The swearing in of two predecessor Governors-General. This is the hub of our democracy, and it impresses itself so marvellously on me each time I make a visit here. The grandeur of the place invests many of its public occasions with a special significance and indeed a dignity. I'd like to endorse something I heard the Prime Minister remark on just a moment ago. To the political leadership of Australia represented in this room today, I think I say on behalf of my fellow Australians, I applaud your wholehearted commitment to the service of your constituents, and through them to the grouping of communities all the way up to the national community. Your work as politicians is the lifeblood of our nation, and not to be understated. To our diplomat friends, all of our friends and neighbours around the world, I commit myself to helping nurture and prosper the relationship between all of your nations and Australia. There's always, in a grouping of this nature, that quiet community of public servants. All the public servants here today, you are the backbone of our thriving democracy. You are almost always unsung, but you must never be undervalued. To our many men and women in uniform, those in the armed services and those in that wealth of other agencies who wear the uniform with an Australia upon it, you are an especially esteemed part of our national treasure. And while my Governor-Generalship will embrace the 23 million people of this nation, I'll always have a special place for you in the depths of my heart. So my wife and I say to be now part of the great apparatus of state is exhilarating and humbling. Thank you all indeed for your welcome today and your kind thoughts, which I hope will uplift us through the time of our period in office. Thank you all very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the formalities. Please enjoy the hospitality of the Prime Minister and the Government.
Stand at A. Guard, attention! Australia's Federation Guard. Royal salute. Present arms. Guard, shoulder, arm. Guard, order, arm.
Today. You look great. You're part of the ceremonial of this nation. I used to say that generals don't rust. Men and women of the Navy, Army and Air Force don't rust, neither do Governor General. So thank you for being out in the rain. I look forward to seeing you. And the RMC band, otherwise known as the Governor General's own, we'll see plenty of each other.